Oh, all right. Looks like we're still gonna need this.
This is keeping it together, which, yeah, man. I think we need to after this episode. Good
We're gonna
lord.
turn into Jessica Jones by the time this show's done.
Man, this was,
Woof.
this is intense. If I was a little kid, this would give me nightmares.
Yeah.
Like,
Good job. We're always talking about how things aren't dark enough, like they were back when we were kids. Not in this show.
well, I mean,
That was like Isle of Dr. Moreau type shit going on there.
things can get dark, but a lot of times they feel like they're dark for no reason. This definitely feels like it has a reason.
This
so
feels
justified.
Yeah, this feels. It wasn't even like drawn that dark. It just the subject matter was dark.
Well, and the way it was presented, and the way it was. I mean, even when she starts to split apart there, I mean, that's kind of some disturbing animation there. I mean, imagine your little kid just seeing one of your heroes, just like her back is splitting up and her eyes open up and she's crying as all these hands are trying to grab. I mean, that's freaky
it was
shit.
edited so beautifully,
And
with
the music.
with the two different sides of her talking.
Yeah.
Like, no, this can't be. Oh, they were here all along. Oh, this is punishment for the rebellion. Is this what Rose thought was gonna happen? I'm like, Surge.
You know what I like too? As soon as they say, I bet Ruby and Sapphire can help us fold, I'm like, well, okay, we're obviously gonna see Ruby and Sapphire, and we
You
didn't.
didn't.
Yeah. And this is one of the few times where it's like, I always think sort of the 10 minutes that they have for each episode are really tight and really good, a lot like Adventure Time. They know how to utilize the time. This was the one time I'm like, God, I wish there was more. I mean, but in a good way. Like, it's...
I'd rather leave wanting more than going, could have been shorter.
It's like, never separate the pair, haha, and they put them together. It's like, okay, good, but seriously, what the hell? I really wanted more. I mean, this is an episode, Peridot comes back, or at least they find her. We don't know, well, no, we do know what she was doing, apparently. She's combining the shards of destroyed gems, which is pretty much like dead people, and putting them together, creating these hands and feet and arms, and...
That was nightmarish.
Yeah, it really was.
You know what? What a testament to how well... and it's a different type of world building, because we've just been getting pieces at a time. But...
Shards, if you will.
What a testament to how well the show has basically gone about the world building and telling us what's important and why these things are important and how this universe works, that when she said, oh, these are the old gems, these are the shards, they've been buried and they've been re-put back together, that I'm just like, unholy abomination!
Yeah, it hits
How
you.
dare you!
It legitimately hits you, where I think if you started off with this, and said, oh, the gems are kind of like people and these are shards and now they're put together, oh, weird,
Yeah.
ooh.
It's like,
But I mean,
Doc,
we've gotten to a point where it's like,
Yeah.
whoa, like that's really messed up.
Yeah,
Like you get it, it sinks in.
I
It's
got it.
given time to
I'm like,
sink in.
this is fucked up. Fucked up! So, yeah, you know what? I also like that this was had a lot with Stephen and Pearl. This was...
Garnet. Oh, no, we have had a lot.
No,
yes,
we
yes.
have had a lot with Stephen and Pearl. Listen, stop drinking. I like that this
episode.
I like that this was very Stephen and Garnet. Toasty.
It's plishy.
Yeah, I like that this was about them kind of bonding and Stephen seeing, shit go down with Garnet and is worried about her. I just like the way the two interacted. Stephen always has moments with all three, and I like that. So this was definitely a Stephen Garnet episode, whereas the other one we had Stephen Pearl. And they each have a different dynamic. So I don't feel like these three characters are all the same.
Yeah,
and
never
if you
feels
get
like
a bonding
repeat.
episode, you're just going to see the same thing just with a different character. So,
Well, and this is one of the reasons I love, this is why I loved X-Men growing up. I really like group environments because you're allowed... Batman's awesome, and Superman's awesome, I love those characters, but there's something about when you put them in a group, and you can just see the interaction off each other. Bugs Bunny is great, but if you put Bugs Bunny with Daffy Duck and Elmer Fudd and these other characters, you see how they work off each other, and it's the same thing here. I love when Pearl and Amethyst go chase after Peridot. So, they're still contributing. They're a part of the team. But, yeah,
We
Garnet
lost her.
and Steven...
Her fingers were too fast.
But Garnet and Steven are going to go do their own thing, too, and they're going to have sort of an interesting connection. I think with group environments, you're constantly finding new connections and new stories and new relationships you can constantly build and grow.
Well, and again, it's all about the metaphors for love, marriage, identity,
Yeah.
gender identity, identity of any sort.
All
really.
of that. I mean, that's what's so great. You don't have to be going through, like, you don't have to have, like, be going through a gender identity crisis. You don't have to be going through, you don't have to be in a marriage with someone. You don't have to be with anything like that. It's just, it's subjective in just the right way. I mean, I think we can both say I really connected with that scene at the end where she's talking about what it's like to be Fuse, and especially, I always call my wife, I always say it's like, I just feel like even though I've only known her for like 8 years, it's like, she feels like she's my right arm. It just feels like that, like I've always known this person somehow.
Yeah,
and that's why I really like that idea of fusion. It's like,
I have to remind myself that it's a kid's show, because I thought initially when they were talking about it earlier in the episode, where it's like, well, it's two parts become greater than the whole or whatever. She was basically saying something like that, and I was like, wow, what a wonderful metaphor for marriage or love. Yes, you can. Those two can be the same thing.
As long as you have a lot of this. Ba-dum-bum.
My wife's gonna see this. I'm asleep on the couch.
As opposed to.
Well played. But yeah, and the thing is, I got it. I didn't need any more explanation. I got everything about what it's like to be fusion from that one little speech. And then Garnet keeps talking at the end, and a part of me is just like, I didn't need this. I already got it. But I'm like, oh, that's right. I'm a grown-ass adult watching a cartoon show. Like, it's like, I get it because I'm an adult, but you know what? Spell it out for the kids, just in case.
Well, I didn't even make the argument.
And it was a well-written speech.
Yeah.
So it was funny, though, because I'm just like, I keep forgetting. I'm like, oh, yeah, this is meant for, like, kids. Like, so something that's subtle that I'm like, no, that was fine the way it was subtle. Sometimes you spell it out a little more, but I thought it was a great ending.
Well,
so.
I would even make the argument, like, even not for kids, because, I mean, it's definitely for kids, but there are people, I mean, all of us, we've all seen people whose emotional development go slower, or they don't always catch on to certain social cues and stuff, and I think shows like this, and again, I think this is why My Little Pony is so popular, is because it is talking about that social interaction, and it's talking about it in a very slow, fair way that anyone can understand.
Okay, that's fine,
and you can grasp onto it.
I think it was aimed at kids first. This is running on Cartoon Network.
Yes, obviously.
This is not.
But I'm saying that's why I think it goes
running
even beyond just
prime
a kid show.
time on NBC or something. Like it's aimed first, and if Rebecca Sugar wants to aim it at a larger crowd, that's fine. But it's still, I think.
No, it's a kid show first.
Yeah,
it still has the silly jokes. But the silly jokes are good and everything.
You can't be too subtle. Which is what I think happened, and I'm fine with that. I actually thought it was a great speech. There's a good moral in there about you can't force people to be something they're not, which is what the other gems or Dot or whatever they're doing. It's like, fusion, that was like Garnet's choice, those two coming together. And what's going on here, it's like forcing somebody, it's like praying away the gay or something. It's like you can't force somebody to be something they're not.
You can't take these two things that aren't supposed to fit
you
together.
can't force people together. You can't force people apart. Like it's gonna fucking happen. Sorry. Deal with it, universe. Steven Universe.
I also like the two things that is funny because this is mostly a Garnet episode. Steven's in it too. Steven's comedic moments in this I thought were really legitimately funny. Well, first of all, if you watch the way he folds clothes, they really animated him like he folds it like a little kid. So putting the head down and doing that and stuff.
I didn't even notice that.
I love the way they animate him constantly as a real little kid. And the way he talks and everything is so genuine, but so a little kid.
The scene though where she asks, "Are the others here?"
Yes, and that's the other scene I was going to point out.
One of the greatest moments in this entire show so far.
And then
yeah, it just was so so well animated.
And you don't need that scene. You could have cut that. You didn't even really need to have Steven come across
so
her.
Steven.
It doesn't add anything like crucial to the story, but it's just such a funny moment. And
no. Yeah.
And it's just a funny, wonderful.
It's almost like
bit
an
of
apology.
character.
Sorry.
Yeah. It reminds me of something like you see in a Coen Brothers movie where it's like there's a lot of scenes. It's like you don't need that, but it just adds so much character and so much comedy and so much awkwardness to, you know, a show that has so many badass scenes and so many things are planned out. That's great to have something that just makes them feel more human.
Little touches like that make a show.
Yeah.
So it's the attention to detail. When I watch a really good anime or a really good animated film, it's the little things that you didn't need to do. You wasted paper or program or megabytes or whatever if it's a CGI movie. You wasted time, money, and effort doing that, and yet those little moments make it. Like, you didn't need it. You wasted the time doing it, and the film or the show is actually better for it.
You know, I remember when, slightly off topic, but when I first saw Coraline, and I knew I was going to love this movie when there's a scene where she enters a room. Well, how do you animate someone entering a room? Turns the knob, opens up the door, comes in. But, you know, in good animation, with good characters, you see her hanging on the door, that leans her open, and then she lets go and she walks in. It just immediately gives her so much character, so much life, and she just feels alive. And I feel like this show is
And again, the thing I like most,
constantly.
visual stostorytelling, no dialogue.
Yeah.
Told you things you need to know about her character without a line.
Really good episode. Very nicely done. Yeah, definitely nightmare fuel. So, sweet dreams.
Oh, I'm not going to be able to unsee that.
Don't worry, the couch is very comfy.